One Piece manga chapter 894. Yo, the hype is real right now. This is the best chapter of 2018 yet, and we're just starting 2018. I was literally at the edge of my seat on every page. This chapter was absolutely amazing. This is clearly a 10 out of 10 for me. Go tier chapter. Shout out to Oda. This shit was simply amazing. The reveals, the Luffy versus Katakuri, finally something about smoothly, and a new Gear 4 form. I cannot wait to see everyone's reaction to this chapter. We all know the fandom is going crazy right now. The hype is real. But getting on to the chapter, on the cover page we have the next bit of what's going on with the Tontadas, and they're going to the Reverie as security for the King of Dressrosa. So hopefully we might get a glimpse of things here and there of what's going on in the Reverie. Maybe we might get snippets of new characters we might see. Yeah, the cover stories are just way better than the fan fiction art we used to get, given the fact that we can see things that are happening elsewhere that could tie up with things in the main story. But the first bit of this chapter, we start off with Katakuri versus Luffy, the fight, but we delve into a flashback with Rayleigh and Luffy. Remember, anytime we get a full-fledged flashback, it's usually when Luffy gets a power-up. And just seeing Rayleigh for more than 2 pages was really refreshing to see, as these flashbacks usually give like 1 or 2 panels. We actually get to see like 2-3 pages of Rayleigh and Luffy and the information we get about Haki. And so we get some information from Rayleigh that Luffy's observation is focused more on feelings, the emotions of people, the empathy version of observation, a lot like what Kobe experienced at Marineford, which is surprising because I thought Luffy would be on the other side of the spectrum of observation. But as we can see in this chapter, Luffy was initially bad at predicting attacks, the order of attacks as stated by Rayleigh, but rather he senses the emotions of attack. And it makes sense because Luffy is usually good at taming animals, or they usually become attracted to him, as he did spend 2 years in an island that is filled with like wild creatures, so it kind of makes sense. And Rayleigh also states that there are people that can see a glimpse into the future, and if Luffy meets one, he needs to find a way to fight them, which I will talk about later. And so we jump back to present time with the fight, and Luffy actually senses the future. He doesn't see the future, he senses it, and dodges Katakuri's mochi attacks. Now I will say this, the new power for Luffy is game changing, and this should even things out for him in Wano. Remember that Wano is filled with these physical fighters, those zone devil fruit users like Jack, so dodging their attacks would be the best course of action, and this would make Luffy have a 1-up against people like Jack or maybe other calamities. So this is a massive power boost for Luffy in terms of who he's going to be facing in Wano. But even though Luffy has gained this power, it's not honed or mastered to the point that he can use it efficiently in battle, and even Katakuri's armament was overwhelming Luffy's armament in this fight. His hands were throbbing and everything. But we also get, I guess, one of Katakuri's special attacks, Grilled Mochi, which seems to be a lot similar to Luffy's Red Hawk, but actually Katakuri extends his hand out of his body and sends his hands flying towards Luffy, which ultimately sends Luffy flying to the wall. Now that was amazing to see. Luffy also lands a good hit on Katakuri, and if you look closer in that panel or in that page, you can actually see that Luffy more than likely dodged several block mochis to get that hit in. So amazing progression on Luffy's part. Like the exchange between Katakuri and Luffy in those panels were just amazing. We also get glimpses here and there of the fights during other parts in this chapter, not full pages, just small panels that we see over the course of the chapter, so those transitions were good to see. But ultimately Katakuri knocks Luffy down and tells him to get back up, and Luffy says he's going to end it now. We finally get the reveal that we've all been waiting for, a new Gear 4 form, and it's called Snakeman. Now I gotta give a quick shout out to my boy Sean Holmes. He called the name and the Haki it's gonna be based around, so yeah, shout out to Sean. Now it's still situational based, given as it's not an entirely new form, just a different variation of Gear 4. This would be a better matchup for Katakuri, and given that Luffy has augmented his observation to a new level, this form could be used in conjunction with his future sight to even make it stronger than it was before. It might also use the same concept of what Luffy was doing against Ano during Skypiea, whereas he stopped thinking about anything, which made his movements a bit unpredictable for even Ano, who has really good observation. So more than likely Luffy will be physically weaker than Boundman, but more agile, faster, swifter, and maybe uses pinpoint slicing attacks, given that he's probably not going to have as much power power as Bound Man, and cutting attacks seem to have more an effect on people more so than physical blows itself. And there seems to be a sort of trend with Luffy sort of developing moves that are centered around the 6 powers of the Rokushiki. First he has Soru with gear 2nd, then Geppo with gear 4th, which allowed him to fly against his fight with Doflamingo, and then Kamiye could be something he uses in Snakeman. So yeah, the possibilities of what it's going to be are endless at this point. I might make an entire separate video talking about what this form may be capable of. Whatever it is, it's going to be hype as hell. Apart from the fight, we also have other reveals that happened in this chapter. We also get some stuff with Sanji heading out to where Luffy's at, given the fact that he knows that Luffy is going to be out in a position where he's probably not going to be able to move after his fight with Katakuri, and hopefully Sanji gets some type of fight or brief scuffle with someone that's, you know, waiting at the mirror. So Sanji will be Luffy's saving grace after his fight with Katakuri. And we also get the reveal of an infamous commander that was hinted way back during the Cracker fight. Now people were saying that he actually got killed by Big Mom for failing to take care of a Rouge, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I'm not gonna lie, he doesn't look like anything I expected him to be. He also has a 600 million berry bounty, which is a lot lower in the sense that there's a big gap between him and Cracker, and I think Luffy can definitely beat this guy as well. And you can tell that he's clearly having nightmares about, you know, the Mad.D monk Rouge at this point. So I'm glad Oda finally revealed him, and this could be Sanji's potential matchup when he arrives. But given that there is a lot of people waiting there, I think Sanji would get help from the Vinsmoke while he scuffles with Snack or any other commander that's there, maybe Oven. You know, whoever his matchup is going to be, it should be a strong individual. Hopefully we get to see more of Sanji, given that this arc was centered around him for the most part. But I'm interested into seeing what Oda has in store for this, because there's a lot of things happening at the same time. Then we have the stuff with Capone and the cake. Obviously Big Mom is still chasing them, and Chiffon tells them to lure Big Mom far away from Cocoa Island so she wouldn't be able to catch up with the Straw Hats. And at that point, Big Mom straight up looks like a witch after losing all that weight. Then we have the stuff with, you know, Jinbei, Nami, and the others getting chased by Smoothie. Now we actually get something from Smoothie that more than likely relates to her, you know, juicing ability. It seems like she can, I guess, absorb juices to make herself bigger, because she was huge in this chapter. Now I didn't notice till I saw how small her other sisters were, given the fact that they were relatively close in height in the last chapter, so I knew something was up. But Smoothie sends a flying sword attack but misses thanks to Nami's navigating skills. Now I'm not sure how or why Smoothie is that big. Maybe she's absorbing water into her body and she's like that huge. Hopefully we get some explanations in the next chapter. Now personally, I think this is one of the best chapters we've had this arc. Like every part of it was just greatness. Oda has been on a roll lately with these fire chapters. Luffy versus Katakuri, a new Gear 4 form, the reveal of Commander Snack, Smoothie doing something. Like, it doesn't get any better than this. Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. Amazing chapter. This chapter was well executed, and we had major progression, you know, towards the end of this arc, or where this arc is actually going, because it seems like the Luffy versus Katakuri fight is reaching its climax, or in the next couple of chapters this fight should be over because we have things to do. But yeah, this chapter was well executed. But comment down below what you guys think. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe for more content on this channel, and I think I'll make a separate video talking about what we might get with Luffy's new Gear 4 form, Snakeman, because it looks hype. I think it's gonna be cooler than Gear 4 in terms of design, so definitely expect that. I might drop it today, I don't know, but it is fair, guys. I will see you folks later. Peace.